The year is 1619, and I've just escaped execution at the hands of my own king. I might have died in peace, but for the burning need to clear my name. Destiny has driven me here to the edge of human exploration. Some call this place the New World, but the Romans called it Mars, and when they say Mars, they mean that literally. In the corner, you can see Phobos and Deimos here, the moons of Mars. Welcome everyone to Let's Play Jamestown, a wonderful alternative history co-op enabled shmup where it's not North America being colonized by the British, but Mars itself. And the Anglo-Spanish War takes place not on Earth, but in space, with the Martians aiding conquistadors. So we will begin Chapter 1 right away. We're going to go with this on Legendary. This is not a very long game. We're going to start off mining our keys. We have a basic fire, a special weapon, and Vaunt, which I will explain in a little bit. Vaunt is going to be kind of our primary defensive tool. It has some offensive applications as well, and then we also have ships to choose from, each with their own special weapons. We have a classic set and a DLC set from the Gunpowder, Treason, and Plot DLC. Most of those are locked for now. We're going to start off with the Beam Special. November 5th, 1619. I must admit, nothing could have prepared my old eyes for what now lies before them. The New World is truly a wonder to behold. Sadly, I have little time to enjoy the view. Though I eluded my captors, at the Tower of London long enough to make passage to Jamestown colony, I doubt very much that they've given up the chase. I have pinned my hopes for survival on the mysterious lost colony of Roanoke. If I can produce the solution to such an enduring and tragic mystery, I'm convinced that my heroism would earn amnesty for my crimes. For now, I make for the battlefields of the eastern frontier. I have it on good authority that John Smith himself is to be found there, defending our settlements from the allied Spanish Martian forces. I pray that he will have some sort of idea of how an entire colony of 117 souls could disappear and leave no trace to mark its passing. The conveyance hums at my side. I fear violence waits for me on the roads ahead. Signed R, as in Sir Walter Raleigh. In which a settlement is ravaged by botanicled Martians loyal to the Spanish, and a villain appears. So the bullet pattern we get is a result of which special or which ship we choose. So in the case of the Beam, we get this big spread pattern, which is awesome in its own right. And then we also get the Beam as our special. We collect these gold rings and cogs and bolts and whatnot that pop out of enemies to fill that bar in the top left. By the way, when there are these many particles on screen and small explosions from so many fodder enemies, it can get real easy to get clipped by fodder enemies, especially from those little drill enemies that are kind of entrenched in the ground. Those are the ones you gotta watch out for early on in the first level. And that bar that we're filling up with a shower of rings and whatnot, and, of gold, is for the use of Vaunt, which is this. That shield that pops out when you hit Vaunt can block projectiles. Oh shit. And when you don't have much meter left, you get a smaller version of the shield from Vaunt. A couple other things happen when you activate Vaunt. You get a power up for your bullets temporarily, and you get a score multiplier. So it's also an offensive tool. And thus it becomes a decision. Do you want to use it just to burn through enemies quicker? Do you want to get it to multiply your score? Or do you want to save it? Do you want to hang on to it for like an emergency oh shit button? I didn't weep between those. So this is by far the easiest level in Jamestown. It's still no pushover on the middle and higher difficulties. But it's gonna ramp up from here. This is still fun as hell, I think. Bwomp bwomp. The Traitor Prince. And this is one of the specials in which you cannot fire these regular bullets and your special at the same time. The laser is a big continuous beam of damage. It's very strong, but it also comes with a drawback of slowing you down and disallowing your regular fire as well. But your regular fire is also kind of terrific, so it works out. It's balanced in that way. And as is the case with most shmups, your hitbox is actually not the entire ship. It's just a small little cross-section in the very center. Fills up our vaunt. And these will eventually track in on you, which is actually quite easy to deal with. This is a little bit harder because, man. It's not the pattern itself, but it's those little triangles, the little arrows. The spiraling part is not that bad, but we have bought back, so that was not that bad to finish off. Woo! Only got 3 stars. We should get 1 more from the bonus. This is not going to be a super high score run or anything. This is going to be all legendary difficulty, though. Whew. And we got the title of Credit Saver because we didn't have to use a continue, which hopefully that's the case throughout this LP. As we drove back the last of the allied Spanish Martian forces, we heard a distant battle cry through the smoke and dust behind us. Erupting dramatically from the clouds was none other than John Smith, his handsome figure posed dramatically at the prow of his ship. His dashing entrance came a moment too late to render us any actual assistance, but the man's eagerness and thirst for adventure do much to forgive his lacking punctuality. Having turned the tide of his frontier campaign against the enemy, his spirits were high and he offered us lodgings for the night. Over a bonfire feast of roast pork and potatoes, Smith drew out a crude map of a place he and his men call the Dark Sector. Shrouded within foreboding clouds and tempestuous cyclones, he believes that this godforsaken place may hold the answers I seek. Our course will take us directly through territory controlled by the Spanish. Their conquistador will want vengeance after their losses here today. May some light find us in these dark and forgotten corners of the wilderness. We leave at dawn, signed Sir Walter Raleigh. So, in addition to the main levels, we're gonna just show off a couple of things like the bonus levels, which are normally like challenge modes like stave off vengeance for 60 seconds or just survive for 15 seconds. Same control scheme, everything's pre-bound for us because we did the binding before. Let's use charge. It's one of the ones I use less often, so we'll just show that here. Bomb death. Survive 15 seconds. I've never done any of these, by the way. Whoa! Okay, let's try that again. Wasn't quite expecting that kind of flurry. Okay, so now I know it's coming. I can be a little more proactive with destroying some of these and just survive from the side. Oh my god. Vaunt's gonna be the hero of this. I can't believe I got through that without the big Vaunt. Holy shit! Okay! That's cool. Man, I love Jamestown. And the upcoming levels are gonna be dope too. The upcoming levels get really, really bonkers. The thing about charge is you can rapid fire the projectile, but it's just gonna be a small little orb. So you really should let it charge up automatically until it's max level, this huge devastating orb that's slow moving projectile. And then the other thing that we have is the old shop. where we can buy new ships and some modes. So we're going to pick up these 3 ships from the DLC pack. There's also hardcore mode, farce mode. We'll get into that in a second. We have most of the ships purchased, but let's also get the stuff from the Gunpowder, Treason, and Plot DLC, and we'll show those off as we get the opportunity to do so. There's also farce mode for the story, which is a more lighthearted take on things, which maybe we'll show as a bonus episode. Oh, and I forgot to read this. Chapter 1, East Frontier. At the edge of the British territory, Martian warriors loyal to the conquistador wreak havoc on settlers. Next time, we'll start Chapter 2 up. We'll get a little bit more into the scoring mechanics and just how nuts some of the bullet patterns can get. Until then, thanks for watching, everyone. Take it easy. Have a good one. Man, Jamestown is super good.